Merry Christmas! If you're like me, this is one of your favorite times of the year and you love to watch Christmas movies, and there are a ton of them. So here I am whittling down the top 21 Christmas movies of all time. This is video number 1, but before we get into that, remember to go into the description and click on the link there for a free epic fantasy ebook that I wrote, and also remember to subscribe and follow this YouTube channel. All right, are you ready? Let's do it. Welcome back to Great Stories Change the World. This is the YouTube channel where a fantasy science fiction author, that's me, looks over movies and TV shows and books and talks about the stories within them and maybe make a few recommendations like I'm doing today. Because I believe that great stories do change the world, and this is a great time of year to look at some great movies. There's some classics that we're going to look at. And I have my Misfit Toys shirt on and I'm ready to go. All right, are you ready? We're going to start with number 21. So I'm going to do like 21 through 11 first in this video. At number 21, we have 8-Bit Christmas. Now, I wanted to do top 20, but I kind of had to add this one because this is Neil Patrick Harris, who I think he's great, very funny, and he does a great job in this movie. This is kind of a mashup between Princess Bride and A Christmas Story, and they do a great job. As derivative as it is, they do their own thing with it, and it came out on HBO Max last year, 2021, and it's become one of my new favorites, to be honest. I really think it's great. So, number 21, 8-Bit Christmas, all right? Number 20, we have The Santa Claus. This came out in 1994. This has Tim Allen. This was at the height of his popularity. And to be honest, this is one of the best things that he's done. The sequels weren't great. They were kind of money makers. The second one was decent. The third one was awful. And to be honest, the streaming show that's on Disney Plus, I actually kind of like it. So check it out if you haven't. It's a classic, and it's one of the best things that Tim Allen's done, all right? So number 19, we have Holiday Inn. This came out in 1942, and this has two legends in it. It's got Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire. Now, Bing Crosby loved to do movies with other actors, like buddy picture kind of things. And I don't know whether he just didn't think he was a good actor or he wasn't a good dancer, and he kind of wasn't a good dancer, but he was an amazing singer and a decent actor, but he loved these kind of buddy pictures like he did with Bob Hope and some other people. And in this one, it's Holiday Inn, and it's kind of a Christmas movie. I'm including it here because this is where we get the song White Christmas. This is the first time he sings it. It is literally the top selling music single of all time. Like that song White Christmas is the best selling song of all time. And so this is where you get it, but there's a lot of great numbers in here. If you like musicals, Fred Astaire, Bing Crosby, amazing, all right? At number 18, we have Lethal Weapon from 1987. This is kind of Mel Gibson's, coming out party sort of thing. Like, this was his huge movie that made him a star. He was doing the Road Warrior and Mad Max stuff before that, so he had some name recognition, but with this movie, he becomes one of the biggest bankable stars in the world. And of course, he and Danny Glover together have great chemistry, and this is a Christmas movie. I know it's an action flick and it's violent and there's all sorts of other stuff that's going on with it, but it starts out with a Christmas song and then you kind of end with some Christmas dinner. It's very family oriented. The theme of family runs all through this movie, and that's why I have put it here on my list, all right? Number 17, we have The Holiday. This is from 2006. This is still a movie that my wife and I periodically throughout the year will say, let's just kind of watch The Holiday. This is one of our favorites. This is Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, both of them at kind of the height of their stardom. And so this movie just did a great job of them switching houses. So it's kind of fish out of water, learning how to love again and what love is really about, and family, and just all sorts of good themes and great acting, and it's funny. It's a little predictable, obviously, as a romantic comedy, but one of the best things about this movie, to be honest, is Jack Black. They put Jack Black in a romantic lead, and he was confused by it, and I'm sure a lot of other people were, but I love that guy, and they totally made it work, all right? So that's number 17. Number 16 is another romantic comedy around, it's about 10 years earlier. It's called While You Were Sleeping, all right? And this is Sandra Bullock at the height of her stardom. She was, coming off of Speed and some other movies. And man, this is a great romantic comedy, just really highlights all of the talent that Sandra Bullock has and had at the time. It's one of her best movies. I don't know if it's her best, but it's one of her best movies. And of course, you also have Bill Pullman in it, and you've got a great character actor, Peter Boyle, who plays the dad of Bill Pullman. And it is a Christmas movie. It's all happening around Christmas. And again, it's another theme of family. And, kind of the deception is, is she the fiance, and the memory loss and the whole thing, with Peter Gallagher playing the brother. And it's such a great movie. We watch this movie all the time too, but it is a Christmas movie. A lot of it happens around Christmas. Number 15, we have, going back to the classics, White Christmas. This is 1954. Again, we have Bing Crosby. Now, like I said, White Christmas was such a huge hit that they decided to do a movie based on the song, right, with the title. And now we've got Danny Kaye, another buddy guy, in the movie. He's more comedy, but he's also very physical and great dancer. It also has another classic actress, Rosemary Clooney. This is one of her best. She was such a huge star back in those days. And Vera Allen plays kind of the fourth in the four people, right? The four stars that are in this. But this is a great movie. It's one we watch all the time, almost every Christmas. We got to sit down. We sing all the different songs. Got some great numbers. White Christmas at number 15. At number 14, we have A Muppet Christmas Carol. Now, I didn't love this movie when it came out. This is in 1992. But this is the first Muppet movie that they made after Jim Henson died. And so a lot of people were really unsure what to do. This was a different sort of idea of a Muppet movie than they had before. Like they had the Great Muppet Caper and they had the Muppet movie, and they kind of were original stories. But here with the Muppet Christmas Carol, they started to do these kind of classic literature stuff like they did with Treasure Island and some other things. And a lot of people weren't so sure about it. It didn't have as many stars. It just has Michael Caine as Scrooge. But as time has gone on, this has become my favorite Christmas Carol movie. There's some great ones. George C. Scott one is great, but this has become one of my favorites. And the full version with the song that they have kind of cut out in the DVD, but it was in the original like theatrical version. They put it back in. So it's a great one. It's really well done. It moves well. It's got some great themes. Again, it's a classic story, and they do it Muppet style, and it's just very clever. So Muppet Christmas Carol, one of my favorites. Number 13, I have not the best movie, but very nostalgic movie for me and a lot of us who grew up during this time, Gremlins. This is 1984. And the main big star that we have in this one is Phoebe Cates. And a lot of people may not even know who she is these days, but she was one of those actresses that we all had a big crush on. And this was like a PG-13 sort of Christmas horror movie. And that's really sort of weird to say, but it wasn't as violent or as bloody as a lot of the other ones that have kind of gone on through the years. And this had a very cute gizmo and had a lot of cute marketing. And the kid Billy gets this mogwai, and there's some plot holes, but man, the puppetry and all of the stuff that they do with this, and the visuals, and the little fun moments that they do with the gremlins, and all of those moments are really fun. And the fight in the department store, we loved this movie when it came out. So number 13, Gremlins. At number 12, we have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, a lot of people may not know, But the story, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, came from like a Montgomery Ward, which is, again, a department store back in the day. And there was just like a little book that they had. And they wrote this short story, and they had this little book for kids called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And then later on in the 40s, I think his name was Johnny Marks, wrote a song, and Gene Autry sang it, and the song became a huge hit of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the song we all know, right? Well, again, it just kind of grew and grew in popularity and became a classic song every Christmas. And so they decided to make a special in 1964. And really, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer kind of kicked off a lot of the half-hour TV specials that we kind of got when we were growing up, some of us through the 70s and 80s, when we were growing up, and you know, Little Drummer Boy, and you know, some of the different ones. Even Charlie Brown was after this. So this was a real pioneer and that sort of thing. The stop motion animation and the claymation sort of stuff was huge, and I was a huge fan of that stuff because I grew up and that was what you did. Even it's in Star Wars, it was in the Sinbad movies from the 70s. It's classic. The original King Kong had, like, you know, claymation and that sort of thing. So all of those things combined, the music, Burl Ives, who you may not know, but he was a huge sort of singer star in that time. It all worked. And it's maybe a little lower on the list. It didn't quite crack my top 10, but again, nostalgia, it's great, and there's some great moments, and I have the Island of Misfit Toys shirt on right now, all right? At number 11, last but not least, obviously, of this list, we have the Nativity Story. This came out in 2006. And one of my criticisms of a lot of these Christmas movies is they seem to kind of dodge any sort of mention of Jesus and any sort of religion. Now, some of them do. You know, and we'll get into some of those as we go. But, you know, the Nativity Story was actually a good movie that was made, and it was in the theater, and it actually did well. A lot of people seem to have forgotten about it in the last few years. But the Nativity Story tells the story of Mary and Joseph and their relationship, and then the birth and of Jesus and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of a Bible movie, but it's actually pretty well done, and it did really well in the movie theater, and people did enjoy this one. And I think it's a great movie because that is the center of the holiday, is the birth of Jesus. And, you know, whether you believe it or not, that's where the holiday comes from. So here we go, closing it out. Number 11, the Nativity Story, that came out in 2006. Check it out. Now, before you go, remember to subscribe to this channel, to follow this channel, so that you can get the alert when I come out with video number 2, when I go over the top 10 next, okay? So, hope you have a great Christmas. Hope you're having lots of fun, and I will see you later, all right? Peace.